Vamos, Brazil. This is going to be a big one. This is SK Gaming once again stepping out to the home stage, the home crowd, and indeed they have got loud, and I'm proud to be here. My name's Machine, and I'm rhyming all the time, and I do have Maniac, and I do have a rather well-dressed, or at least to some people's standards, Jason Moses O'Toole. Look at you. You've just sprinted from that stage.
Yeah, you know, I've been working out all for this moment. I just want to know how many people in the arena were made in Brazil.
3 people, actually.
Yeah, 3. That didn't go as well as I planned.
6, 7.
They're going to get there. I'm just warming them up.
Yeah, so you're going to invoice for saying that, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's going on it.
Okay, that's going to go on the invoice. Either way, hype is definitely building. Anyone doesn't know what Jason just did, he's just pandered like no one else. He's full on eating bamboo. He's kicked SK signed balls into the crowd?
Not just SK, every Brazilian player. We had Elige, we had Stewie, we had Beta.
All the favorites.
Brazilian caster.
Damn, you've
we
done
had them
well.
all. Yeah, I've put in some work this event.
That is fantastic. I'm jealous. Also, do you know pandas die if they don't eat like something stupid like 23 hours a day?
I did not know that.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
That's pretty wild. That's a lot of eating.
That's a panda fact for you. How have I still got this job? Mousesports versus SK Gaming is coming up, and I do, of course, have Maniac joining us for a second time. First question to you, dude. I am carefully monitoring my expectations here, because I don't think this is necessarily going to be the dream walk in the park that the fans in SK would like here.
No, I think it's a fair assessment.
We have to be realistic.
It is a fair assessment. On the plus side for SK, you have this crazy crowd, of course, the stadium. And also another fact for me is that Mousesports were never really tested in this tournament yet.
Who have they played?
They didn't really have to fight.
They destroyed Liquid.
Yeah,
NTC.
Arguably Liquid will now play. Yeah. So I wonder how is Mousesports going to react, and how deep can they go in their gameplay if SK show up.
Have SK been tested? I mean, do we consider that decider match?
Oh, yeah.
Space Soldiers game?
They lost to Space Soldiers, and then they played them again. They had to fight to win the first map. Then they ran away with Dust2 a little bit easier, but they had to fight for sure.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest takeaways, actually, the man that was just fragging and still is on your screens. Stewie 2K has found his feet offline for SK for, in my opinion, the first time.
Yeah, and he's doing a really good job in this team, and part of it is because I think as he gets more and more comfortable, he's going to stop feeling like he needs to put up numbers. Stewie is not a player that's like fashioned to rack up 30-some kills a game.
Or not deliberately, anyway.
Right, and he's supposed to just have impact. His kind of playstyle, his kind of game is he's going to create something for his teammates. He wants Cold to have the big numbers. He wants them to be at the top of the scoreboard, but he needs to start things out, and he needs to open things up, and I think as we've seen this team get more comfortable, he's kind of been a little bit more reserved in what he's trying to do.
I'm with you.
But when they get behind, you can still see some of that come back into it, where he's trying to do too much.
But has he kind of, are you telling me he's kind of broken out of the shackles of, you know, the smoke criminal? He was always the guy pushing the smokes, making the outrageous plays. Have we kind of moved, is there a different Stewie in the server now?
Yeah, there has been for quite some time, actually. Yeah. I think that meme has gone on as far longer than it should have been. This is a guy whose career and his development as a player has increased at such an incredible pace that he's outgrown those stigmas that he had early on in his career. And I think after definitely after the major win, he's a player you have to look at and say he's very adaptable, very versatile as a player.
I couldn't agree more, actually. And while we continue to watch him frag, I mean, he did win rounds, and this is a spectacular way to end the game against Space Soldiers. Maniac, what's your read on Stewie as a player? I mean, he's had a very different career path to yourself. I mean, he's just climbed like that. You click your fingers, he's on a stage like this.
No, absolutely. His rising has been amazing and very nice to see. Yeah. But the thing that really struck me when the SK did the change for Taco and Stewie was, as good as Taco is, as good as Stewie is, when you look at the profile of player, that's a massive change.
Right, it's a big shift.
How Taco was used in SK, how Stewie was used in Cloud9, where he was performing very well, in my opinion. So as soon as I heard about this change, I thought that's one structural challenge for SK. So
you immediately start checking your watch, saying, how long am I going to give them?
I mean, for me, it was not really a big surprise that SK took some time to find how they really wanted to play, because of how the player profile is so different from before. Yeah. And also the formula that they had before with Taco was working, in my opinion. The results were pretty good. So
winning some majors helps.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. It was. That was a big challenge, and I think Stewie finding his form, it's a very good indicator of SK health in general.
And that's a kind of the first conversation I think we should have, is SK's health. I mean, not of course in the literal sense, but as a team, we sit here and we go, we were really worried when we saw that, or at least I personally was, really worried that we were going to lose another top contender to a roster change because of a lack of results.
Well, we kind of have in a way, right? We don't look at SK as that same kind of force that can challenge Astralis for trophies in the same way. So, and in some kind of level, we have kind of lost SK as a challenger. That doesn't mean they're not still dangerous. Like I said yesterday, they're on the right path. They're going to get back to that point. If you have faith in anyone, it's going to be Fallen. It's going to be Cold Zahra to be able to find something that works, because we've seen them make roster changes and have success with them, no matter whether it's been, you know, Phelps coming in, whether it's been Bolts when FNX left the roster, and obviously the changes they had to make in 2015. So this is a team that very much knows how to get back to the top.
Yeah, and of course I've introduced you. I should introduce the casters that will be guiding you through this one on broadcast. If you're watching at home, it is going to be the voices of two British fellas, my main men. We do have, of course, the boys from Tombiz and Harry hanging out. And this is going to be, guys, we talked about it in the green room. This is the biggest game you'll have ever had the opportunity to cast.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. We're over the moon down here, Alex. We got some British representation this event on the talent. You know, Rush is observing as well. But this is great. Mousesports, they've beat SK in every best of 3 this year. But this time, they're not just up against SK. They're up against what feels like all of Brazil. So, yeah, the atmosphere is electric. Tom, how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that 6th member. That's pretty much it. I want to hear the roar of the crowd. And I'm excited to see if I can hear myself over them.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to give this one back to you guys on the desk. We're going to prepare for stuff down here, so good luck.
Thank you very much, gents. Yes, and there is so much more to add spice to this matchup as well. Not only do we have your casters outlined, we've already said that SK are on this rise. There's a little bit of extra taste in this one, and that's, of course, the rivalry. Now, I'll let you explain this one, Jason. We have 2 North Americans taken to the stage with quite an interesting twist.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jordan and Nothing and Stewie, former teammates as well. And I think Nothing's departure was really solidified Stewie's establishment as kind of the leader of that Cloud9 team. So you have kind of that, the passing of the torch in one sense of like kind of the NA star going over towards Stewie. And they're the 2 players who lifted the trophy last time we were in Brazil, 2016, the Pro League Finals. Those were the guys who upset SK in the finals in Sao Paulo to lift that trophy. So there's one right there. And I mean, just overall, I know they had a little bit of a Twitter exchange last night where it was like, oh, Stewie's like, oh, I don't think Jordan's lost in Brazil, and Fallen goes way, way back. So he remembers all the times Nothing has come down to Brazil and gone home empty-handed. So there's that level of it as well.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. The fact that you've got 2 teammates, both now no longer wearing the Cloud9 jersey. That was just last year. Was it last year? 2 years ago?
Oh my God! Last year. That had to have been.
It must have been last year. Time doesn't fly that quickly.
It could.
Wait, let me think. What did I have to do?
You put me on the spot here, Alex.
I had to have a wax, didn't I? I had a Brazilian wax. That was definitely a year ago.
You loved that.
So that's how you remember.
Yeah, I had a Brazilian wax. Had to paint my nails pink.
You don't forget something like
Henry and Max.
Listen, I've seen the footage. I haven't forgotten either.
Yeah.
All right.
God, and the poor guy that had to edit that video as well. Yeah, that footage is on the internet forever. Either way, this is when you put them head to head. You're Jordan and Stewie. But bear in mind as well that Nothing has played less games. Mousesports, of course, nearly topping their group. They finished 2-0 with a win versus NTC and a win versus Team Liquid. I think the Liquid win was where a lot of the credit was given.
Nothing's also played far less Counter-Strike recently. Like, not only being out of professional and competitive Counter-Strike for a year, but even just to warm up for this event. He was just doing analyst work in London last week.
And Maniac, my question to you, how is that, is that something that could genuinely affect his game? In my mind, is it not like riding a bike? You get back in the server, give it a map, and you're back to it? Or is this serious lack of form?
No, I think to an extent, it's like a bike. I mean, you still obviously know how to play Counter-Strike. Even the principles, if you have played at the top level, you remember them.
I mean, I've seen Jason. He still hits headshots occasionally.
Is it really?
Sometimes.
I make the right decisions. I can't really hit the headshots.
No, but exactly. I think Jason's making the point is that when you have a long time without playing or playing at the top level, is that there is a gap, there is a margin between I know what I'm supposed to do and I'm going to do it automatically. It's like, you have to picture it's like driving your car, right?
Okay.
When you're used to it, you don't have to think about changing the gear, you don't have to think about looking in your mirror, you know that it's automatically,
Yeah.
Well, when you don't drive a car for so long, it's like maybe you have to think about how
it's
to
a process
change
again.
gear.
I understand.
Those automatic stuff, that can not be so quick when you don't play for a moment.
Okay.
I think the funny conversation around Nothing ringing for this team is we've kind of painted it in a negative light, like, oh, Mousesports has to come in with this guy that they haven't played with. Yeah. And there is this kind of very funny effect where if there's ever going to be an event where it's perfect for Nothing to be your stand-in, it's this one. Because Mousesports doesn't have that attitude player to calm everyone down. Everyone's very reserved. Everyone's very shy on that team. From Stico back to the coach of LMBT, every single person is very, very quiet and calm. And Nothing is that guy who's going to help them, crack a joke to lighten up the tension when the crowd goes nuts. He's going to be that guy who cracks a joke or gets people pumped up to frag and pumped up to play. So that's something they didn't have prior to this, and I think there's certainly an effect, and it's not easy to quantify, but Sunny, he's having an incredible tournament so far. Rops is playing like we've never seen him play before. So all of these players are getting a little bit unleashed, a little bit unlocked with this kind of looser style of no expectations, and perhaps a little bit of a, comedy joke from nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds silly, and it does sound like we're just kind of, being vague and making sweeping statements. But I mean, from a player's perspective, I do think, I personally, just from when you talk to the players and when you see those certain personalities succeed, I would think there's truth in it, in that having someone to motivate, having someone to pick you up, having someone to kind of give you that extra enthusiasm. When Rops wins a 1v2, his idol's patting him on the back. There is something there.
Absolutely. I think you can never downplay the impact of the psychological factors when you're playing. I mean, you have to realize an official game of Counter-Strike is a, how to say, it's a stressing thing, okay?
Yeah.
And you're gonna face hard moments whenever you're playing. You're gonna lose rounds
match.
you're not supposed to. You're gonna be down, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. And your ability to stay focused and stay positive and keep giving energy to the team can make a huge difference, because it's one thing to sit at the computer and shoot some headshots. It's another to give for your team, give communication, motivate your teammates.
Yeah.
That is extremely important. And I think I agree with you. I think Nothing is a very good player to have in the team for that.
Are you listening, random matchmaking teammates that I get put up against? We lose the pistol, and already he's talking
Game's
about...
not over.
No.
Game's not over.
Surrender, let's leave. Screw you.
There's no one less inclined to tilt than Nothing.
Yeah.
He is like impossible to tilt, and especially now that he's had this year off, like his entire mindset, when you just talk to him, he just seems so much more carefree, which is really cool. And I think importantly, when you watch him play, when the observer's on him in this game, you'll notice he's not trying to make kind of the star plays. He's not trying to play outside of his abilities.
Sure.
He's just there to hold the angle, to get his 1 or 2 frags if they come to his spot. And you're exactly right. When you have tough games where you're not getting kills, which is always going to happen. We've seen Rain go 0 for 11 or 0 for 12 out in Australia. Like, you need to be able to contribute in other ways and not just making some kind of a clutch, but even if it's passing on the crucial piece of information in a round.
Well, I have a lot of fun for us now, because we did actually sit down with a camera crew and the 2 aforementioned ex-Cloud9 players. Look who it is. It's Stewie and Nothing. Either sides of the server now, and in Brazil, they lifted the trophy together.
Yeah. They definitely did something like that, but it's a different day today, Alex. We've got Nothing, and we've got Stewie 2K. Oh, dear. Not looking good for you, is it, Jordan? Now, listen, with that being said,
I'd say it's looking pretty great.
yeah. So, anyway, with that being said, last time you guys were here, you won the trophy, you lifted it together. But today's a different day. Jordan, how's this going to go down?
You're right, it is a different day, but one thing's the same. I'm still going to make some Brazilian fans upset. I'm sorry, guys. I love you. Obrigado. Thank you for being here. Make some noise. Get as loud as you want. I'm looking forward to it.
Stewie, he really doesn't know about pandering to the crowd, does he?
Of course not. Last time in Brazil, it was a little disappointment. Come on, let's go, Brazil. Caralho, let's go!
Woo! The heat. Stewie, a matchup of the ages right here, just a heavyweight bout between 2 little weights. Let's talk a little bit about what you're preparing here.
We're just gonna play our own game. It's a little special for me since I'm playing against Jordan. It's been a while since I played against him. It's gonna be a good game. I wish nothing but the best for him. Hope he shows up so we can have a good game.
Absolutely, Brazil, I think you're just about ready for this. You two shake hands, and let's get it on, Alex.
Oh, I couldn't stop providing a running commentary for that one. Sorry, I didn't know my microphone was live, but that's fantastic. I love that. Stewie and Jordan, good friends, now separated on either ends of the stage, playing Counter-Strike against one another for probably one of the few times in their careers. I don't think that's happened too often.
Yeah, probably
outside
not.
of a pug.
Because Stewie's, I mean, you have to remember Stewie's first professional team coming out of like an ESCA main squad was Cloud9 with Nothing. So that was the start of his career. That's a bit of a luxury. Start pretty high up the rung.
Yeah, he really did jump into the deep end.
Yeah.
Now let's start talking maps, and I'm afraid I don't actually have anything to go by here. So this is where I turn to my analyst, I guess, as I should, and ask, what's the read here? What are we expecting to see, Maniac, from the Mousesports roster versus SK Gaming?
Well, to be fair, looking at the videos during the tournament, I think Mousesports are kind of hard to read. First off, they are not here with the full team. That might change the map that they're usually able to play. On the side of SK, they've been vetoing always the same maps. They've been vetoing Nuke as a first map, Mirage as a second.
Okay.
So I would say going to the... Well, okay, that's Nuke again.
Caught you off guard. Yeah, so, I mean, those aren't too surprising of bans, and obviously SK, they're going to feel very confident on Dust2. We know they like that map, and they looked good on it the other day.
We talked about this, I think it was actually you, Maniac, who you brought it up before it revealed yesterday that SK could be trying to make Dust2 their new home, and already we see it pick first place.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for them that would be incredibly comfortable to have one of these maps, that you can pick in the best of 3, and that's a 1-0 straight for you. Oh,
okay.
Train pick from Mousesports. That is interesting.
Have we seen them play with nothing?
Yes, they did play Train the other day. And that was one where he gave the interview. He's just like, you know, they have some very simple strategies that I can get involved in. And that was kind of his interview, is that Mousesports is keeping things very, very simple. And you can notice it on Train. They were doing a lot of more grouped up strategies. They weren't spreading out too much across the map and playing for the advantages. It was a very good game.
16-5. Actually, I managed to find the score in the end. Yeah, 16-5 versus Team Liquid. Yeah, it was. And they had an 11 rounds on T-side. I remember this now.
Yes.
It was this incredible T-side Train performance from Mousesports as a group, as you already have highlighted. So let's keep going. Let's find out where we end up. We have Mirage and Cat. Every time I do this, I start listing the maps left, and they're the ones that get taken away.
Listen, we got that Inferno third map. That's all you can really ask for in a veto phase.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Inferno third map historically delivers the very best, the most hype you can ask for, but we're not necessarily guaranteed to get there. I don't know what we're going to see from SK. I don't know what we're going to see from Mousesports. And bearing in mind, Dust2 isn't necessarily a bad map for Mouse. I've seen them play it a couple of times now, and they look pretty damn good on it. I'm going to dig up those results, Jason, while you move your mouth.
I mean, you have to think that Mousesports, I mean, the way I look at this match is SK is going to be the underdog in pretty much most of the situations, if not all the situations. They are the team that you don't expect to necessarily win because of, you know, being stepped down after the roster change. Mousesports has looked good. So, I mean, this is something where I think on Dust2, SK absolutely have to take that. That's got to be their map, and it's not going to be easy. We saw Chris J with an incredible op, and we'll see what SK can bring to the table. They need to find something that they haven't shown us quite yet in this event.
I found their Dust2 performances so far, so I'll just read them out for you, so the guys at home. We did have their first debut on Dust2 was at Sydney, as for many teams it was. It went down 16-9 to G2, they picked up the win, and it's just Astralis and Liquid they've fallen to, one of which was over in Dallas.
Don't forget as well, Train for SK is a map where they had that historic run on it, where they were dominant, and that was a long time ago. I'm not referencing it for any kind of thing like that, but just think about the fact that you have Fallen with an AWP, and if Fallen is having one of his games on Train with the AWP, that CT side is going to be a lockdown. That T side is going to be very dangerous. He's going to be able to get picked. So that is going to be something you need to watch out for, because if SK do take that first map, they've got a shot on Train, certainly.
No, absolutely, and I want to bounce back on this Fallen comment, because I honestly think he's the X factor in this match coming here. At the moment for SK, coldzera is being his own coldzera, which is probably somewhere between the Sun and whatever starters up there. He's being astronomical, and that is always the case. That's one of the luxury of having coldzera. Stewie is finding his form. We've stated that. That is a very good sign for SK. But I think to go to the final, to go to the trophy, they need the bad Fallen, the librarian.
Yeah, we want to bring, well, it won't be a librarian, it'll be more of a barbarian. He's going to absolutely slaughter them if he does show up.
The loudest library I've ever heard.
It's going to be a very loud library, a concert perhaps more than a library. But either way, you know what time it is. I've just got my smartphone out because I'm going to be recording this whole thing. It's the time for the walkouts. It's time to get SK Gaming and Mousesports onto the stage.
Senhoras e senhores, é chegado o momento que vocês esperavam. Recebam, primeiramente, a equipe da Mousesports. Hoje a Mousesports tem dois obstáculos, a SK Gaming e a torcida no Mineirinho.
That's Mousesports there, walking out to a hostile crowd. And I'm afraid you know what's coming next. Absolutely insane, SK Gaming. Every single time they are greeted by this pack of warriors in the crowd. 10,000 of them filling here in Belo Horizonte. And the battle cry is sounded. But they have the pressure now, and it's not often talked about, you know, when we talk about the pressure applied and, of course, the pleasure of playing in front of a home crowd, I can't help but feel they may be trying to do too much. It's a trap you could fall into here, Jason, where you want to make this team proud. You want to make this 10,000 fans proud. And I can't help but feel that will influence your gameplay. You will try to save the round perhaps more than you should.
I think the legacy that SK built and the experience they have has already made this crowd proud. They're just happy to be cheering on their team here, and I think that's the kind of mindset that SK is going to come in with.
Right.
These guys know they've played on major stadiums. They've played in arenas in Poland. They've played everywhere across the world. They played in front of a hostile crowd in Denmark against Astralis. We're able to beat them as well. This team is not going to be uncomfortable by the fact that they're playing in front of their own crowd. Mousesports, Mike.
I'm going to just let them sing. I don't think we need to talk. Wow. That is a sight for sore eyes. Mousesports versus SK Gaming. Yes, indeed. The songs are going to be important. It does feel like I'm watching a football match. It does feel very World Cup esque. I can see a glisten in your eye, Maniac, when you see it.
I'm going to be honest, it makes me a little bit emotional. You know, for me, Counter-Strike has been part of my life probably for more years that I've been, you know, not without Counter-Strike. And to see this passion from people shouting, screaming, that, I mean, it's amazing.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's really beautiful. There's no other way to put it.
All these big arenas.
So many crowds have blown us away across the Counter-Strike landscape. We had Copenhagen, madness there, Sydney, supporting the Renegades. We had Dallas as well, all not too long ago. And now we find ourselves here in Brazil as SK Gaming take to the stage. Counter-Strike does certainly deliver when we get a stadium and we get matchups like this. Now to focus on exactly how it goes down, albeit briefly, Mousesports, SK jumping into Dust2. This was SK's pick. This is where the Brazilians wanted to start this battle, start this war. And I want to understand how it's going to be going down. Now, when you look at the tools available to SK, is this a recipe for success here in Dust2?
Absolutely. I mean, they have the aggressive players. You have guys like Stewie, you have guys like Fern who like to push up and be aggressive on a map like Dust2. If there's quiet in the mid-round, you can push out long, you can push out towards the B halls, you can do a lot of different things. You can straight up be aggressive in mid, as I'm sure we'll see Perdue. It's an all-burst paradise. They've got Fallen. We've seen Cold Zahra use the second op. We know Stewie can do a second op as well. I mean, there's a lot of things on this map that SK can lean towards, and I think a lot of it's going to come down to these guys have always built their game off mid-round success and mid-round calling and taking advantages of the successes that they find earlier. This is a map where you can really pick apart defenses.
Pick them apart one by one.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think there are so many different ways that you can start the round on Dust2 ST. You can either take long very fast, you can establish domination over short, and then you can execute on to A, you can also go out to middle, go to the B split. There are many, many possibilities, and also many possibilities for individual actions to pop up, and SK have the players for it.
And I do want to actually just delve a little deeper into something you just said. So on the CT side, I've heard in passing from a variety of different analysts saying that it's a gamble. You have to choose where you are going to defend on A, as in you can't really distribute your defenders between long and short equally. I mean, is that something that you've considered?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is where the notion of momentum kind of comes from, because it's a type of chess game, in my opinion. It is something along the line of, okay, we have blocked them trying to take long very fast, so we can afford maybe to send only one defender there, be stronger in the middle, or we stop them long, they probably going to build off short.
So it's like smoke and mirrors. You want to try and make it feel like you're everywhere.
The idea is that you have the stronger part of your defense is where the attack is going to come. But when you're on the losing end of the stick, then that can be very tricky.
We're nearly there, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, just to build off what Maniac just said, I think that mid to B split is always the most intimidating thing. Across Counter-Strike, it's one of the most intimidating attacks you can go against. One wrong move and you're out of it. So, I mean, I think that's going to be a big reliance. Both of these teams have to be able to defend that.
All right then, Brazil. You know what time it is. SK Gaming stepping into the server once more. Mousesports to take them on. ESL One comes alive. Let's get into it. Let's rumble. Mousesports taking on SK.
This is absolutely incredible, Tom. We're going to be getting into this one now.
Oh my God.
And the crowd is already roaring. SK over on that T side. They've got utility on Cold Zahra and Fallen. It's Dust2, a map that they've shown their hand on many a time. The crowd's behind them. Chris J already pushing up through mid. And it's a slow start. They're trying to rally the crowd behind them. You know, they want to set the pace, Tom. They're going to let Mousesports just stew in this reaction from the crowd for a bit. Now, Chris J has spotted out one. He's going to start to back away. Now, they know that he was aggressive in mid. He's going to have to give it up. They don't manage to find him. And now they're going to turn their attention back towards long.
Yeah, it does definitely look like we've got more of a mid-control taken at the moment by Mousesports, but it does leave Steeko with an awful lot to do if they do go pushing towards this site. Now, they've gathered up the P250 for Stewie just to make sure they have that added bit of range if they do go for the push. And here we go. Steeko, he spotted the push. He's just looking to fall back and defend it. Sonny's managed to find the lurker of Fur already at the beginning of this one, but this is where the push comes in. And Bolts is going to kick things off with an entry onto the A site. Bombs should be comfortably planted. And Mousesports, well, they're already looking to try and get back in. Chris J, he's found one very quickly indeed.
Yeah, SK going to go a man down. They even lose out. Bolts and Fallen both fall. It is Cold Zahra left in a 1v4, but if any man could get the job done, it would be Cold. Oh my goodness, 2 kills and more pushing into him. He does get toppled finally. Nothing's going to be there to pick it up. Valiant effort. You could feel the intensity. The pistol round's worth so much in these series. It is going to be Mousesports to pick it up. Double kill from nothing. He's going to be showing up early on here on Dust. When speaking in an interview, I think it was Steeko saying how he's really helped the squad coming in, made them think more positively. They've been more confident in the duels that they take, and they've been taking a much more simplistic approach. Dust2 definitely going to lend itself to that sort of play style. And well, SK, you love to see it. They're going to go for the tactical purchase here. The AK out on Stewie, everyone else force buying what they can. Ball's going to have to scout.
Hello, he has hit someone.
Yeah, he even managed to tag Rops in through Fur. Some damage done back in response. SK waiting to see if Fallen can open anything up over here in mid.
He broke the golden rule. Never cross over a man trying to take a shot down middle. He's actually hit another tag as well. Chris J getting lowered, and well, these CZs will become deadlier by the second with every scout shot that's hit, and they still don't actually know that Stewie has that AK-47 in play, so this is not a safe scenario for Mousesports by any stretch. But Chris J, I think he's one of the dons of the scout. I think he's one of the OGs. I think for me it's him, MBK, players who can definitely pick this weapon up and do damage with it. Carrigan showed us earlier in the day as well what can be done, but the T's are managing to pick up some damage. Stewie went down. He was the man with the AK initially, and it is falling more and more. Bolts now retrieving it. Manages to find one. Looking for a second. Finds it as well. But both players are so low for SK. Surely there's no way they can pull this out.
Yeah, Rups is flanking around from behind. Nothing could get caught off guard at long. He's going to catch the timing to spot out Fur. Rups coming in from behind. He could be the man to seal their fate. The flash goes high. Oh, nothing's going to mop up both frags. He's padding those stats early on. Of course, there's so much we can talk about here, Tom. Of course, the last time that we saw nothing in Stewie on this stage, they actually best SK as Cloud9 here for the ESL Pro League Season 4 finals. Now they're back again, but Stewie, well, he's gone enjoying the Brazilians. Nothing, still looking to try and ruin their day. It's quite the storyline that we can look into as this match continues. But SK, they're going to kick things off in this round with a rush in towards the B-bomb side by the looks of things. Sonny already down in the lower tunnels, and he's just going to hold on up. He hears the footsteps early on. Now they've since slowed right down. They're going to go walking his way.
Oh, I think they might know. He's still going to find himself a couple of kills. It is at least Fallen to trade things out. Of course, only an SMG loss, not anything too hefty for SK Gaming to play. But they have managed to retrieve a smoke, but realistically, getting onto one of these sites, you have to get yourself a kill or two. It's very, very difficult. Yes, there's normally gambles played by the CT side. Maybe if there was some sort of long take, then you could expect some sort of sneaky bomb plan on A, but chances are Mousesports are just going to play in a default here. They don't want to allow any extra money to go into the hands of SK, as we do know that there will be a buy coming up after this round. Unlikely to see an AWP. I don't know how much money Fallen has. Actually, that might help. He has got himself one with the SMG, and still standing, in fact. They don't want to lose too many more. In fact, Bolts has managed to find one with the CZ. This is getting a little bit too close for comfort now for Mousesports, as the bomb actually is going to go down. I was saying very, very unlikely, but, well, they've managed it.
Now the question becomes, can they manage anything more? Fallen tucked away. Bolts has the scout down in the pit, and the bomb is going to be planted for him. There is a smoke up on Rops. That Incendiary does force falling out into the open, and now Bolts. The second they get into the bomb site, that smoke is going to go down. It's not going to be an easy feat to topple either one of these players. He tags up Nothing. Smoke's on the bomb. Nothing's going to be the man on the defuse, and Rops is able to find him. Mousesports, convincing stop. Finding the pistol, converting the 2 anti-ecos as well, something that so many teams have struggled with. As we are still in that pre-CZ nerf build. But now the buy comes in for SK, Falling going to be able to don that AWP early on, courtesy of that bomb plant in the previous round.
Yeah, and the kill he got with the SMG as well. Like, that round was hugely successful for SK. Now, a man who obviously previously in game leader, there's been a lot of changes at SK recently. He's been given a much more, well, seemingly aggressive and free-flowing role. He looked so good yesterday when he was playing with that AWP. So I'm hoping we get a little bit more of that Fallen, because otherwise, well, he's called the librarian, but if it goes too much further like this, I think Mousesports might be making this place a library.
Yeah, indeed. Well, making their way in over here towards mid early on. You can see Chris J's been boosted up on the short position. He's looking diligently, standing on the head of Steeko. He's going to get tagged down, spotted out by Cold Zahra. The Boush doesn't prevail. SK. They've been able to get control of mid. Done it pretty cleanly as well. Haven't taken any damage, haven't had to expel too much utility for it. And now you can see Bolt starting to aggress in through long as well. He is going to go toe-to-toe with Steeko in this position.
Of course, this sort of buy for Mousesports early on, fairly expensive one. The double AWP setup thrown straight in what is, well, sort of the first real buy round. Obviously, they got a little bit of a bonus. Steeko looking around the corner, but Bolts expects it, finds himself the opener. Chris J already tagged, is going to be ready, looking for that trade. Pack just decides to expend a little bit of utility. The problem is now, just look at the clock. 25 seconds, and that bomb wants to go through long. This really could be a problem for SK Gaming.
Yeah, they got to get a move on, Tom. They got Chris J to get past. That's not going to be easy as he's posted up with the AWP. Players coming in from long, and Chris J into the Molotov. He's forced. Bolt's going to find him. That bomb has to make it across, and Sunny's going to manage one. Cold Zahra trades, but there's no time to get the bomb down. It's heartbreak as SK. They come close. It is going to get toppled by Chris J and Sunny. They managed to save 2 rifles out of it. Bolts and Stewie staying alive.
That was actually brilliant utility usage as well from Chris J. Like, using the Incendiary, he could have easily just held the angle with the AWP, used the Incendiary, then also fades away and throws down a smoke. And the fact is, if there's no smoke there, he's dead within seconds. Like, he would have just died to the people pushing through long. The fact is, it took them a few extra seconds to kill him, and, well, think about how that round went down. If 2 or 3 seconds are on the clock for SK Gaming, they get the bomb down, they're in a 2v2. I would even bet that they'd win the round. So, yeah. Brilliant work from Chris early on. He, again, has been another player that for Mousesports has been a standout alongside Robs, alongside Sunny. It really is those sort of core members showing us what they can do. But, well, then again, I can't really say that Nothing as the stand-in has been any sort of bad performance, especially considering just thrown into the team at the sort of last second.
Yeah, I mean, it'd been ages since he'd even last played competitively, maybe doing some work in the analyst side of things. So it's always impressive to see that sort of resurgence from him. This round, SK, they managed to go for a buy. There we go, that's what they need. The crowd rallying behind them. It got a little bit quiet for a minute. I think very emotional right now up on that stage, Tom. It's emotional enough for me just standing here. Chris J, that is a shot and a half. He's just going to decapitate Bolts. He's immediately hushed the audience. Thousands of Brazilian fans on looking as SK once again lose another man early on. Now fighting at a man deficit. Steeko even going aggressive in through long. Has so much information on the back of this. SK desperate to find something. Chris J looks to be the next point of contact. He holds the angle, finds that shot on a fur. Stewie's going to manage the trade. And now they look to just blitz their way in towards this A bomb site. Sunny's all that stands between them and getting this bomb down. And Cold Zahra, he's going to spring to life with the AWP, 3-on-3, as that bomb goes down inside of the A bomb site.
Yeah, they've managed to make this one work. The fact is, Can the retake come in? They don't have a huge amount of utility. Got a couple of smokes. T's are left with next to nothing to defend. Is going to be more down to just their aim to hold things off. But the CT side really are taking their time here, almost wondering if they are just going to head in for a save. Of course, they took a lot of damage in the previous round. And while SK, they've made it onto the scoreboard on their T side. They're going to kick things off and try and break back. And that was actually a pretty important round for them, because although the loss bonus has started to build up, they were sort of getting into a position where they had like sort of weird buys coming in. Fallen actually going to go on a little bit of a hunt, and removing some of these weapons really could be costly for either side, in fact. So nothing actually going to remove one. Fallen is going to be there to trade things back, and well, it means that both teams going into the next round are actually going to have some detriments. Obviously, the CT side, I feel, will come out a little bit worse for wear.
That definitely looks to be the case. As this buy comes in, it's pretty scrappy to say the very least, Tom. They get what they can. Neither team's economy is in a spot now where they can sustain a loss. So this is a very, very crucial round. Again, Chris J, he's been so good at finding these openers, and that's really the transition we see with Oscar not being here. He's usually the man who dons that AWP as the primary, usually the man who finds the openers. Chris J used to be the primary AWPer if you think back, and he's very much been able to roll back the years, go back to that mantle. Now Fallen gonna try and take this fight down in mid. There is nothing there. And I mean that in the sense of the man himself. He holds the angle close with the CZ. You have a smoke for CT. A B split could very much be on the cards. You see the positioning of Stewie, the bomb. Over in mid as well, could duck up through the tunnels. Right now, Mousesports aren't giving anything up. Fallen. He anticipates that they're nearby. Peeking into it, Rock's gonna win the fight. What a shot to land. Man, if he's gonna get extended that much further, and it's Bolts once again to try and answer back, but he gets shut down, leaving this on Stewie and Fern. And they can't get into this bomb site. Fur's left in a 1v5.
Yeah, worst case scenario position for Fern, and nothing even gonna pick up that AWP as well. It seems like everybody can AWP at the moment on that Mousesports side. And that is not what we wanted to see for SK Gaming. That's not what this crowd was wanting. A straight reset. The second SK managed to get themselves on the board. And you have to note that that buy in the last round was actually sort of a risky force, because they saved themselves a couple of guns and they wanted to try and break into things. That is an interesting highlight clip.
They were just like, play the one where Chris J's killing the Brazilian team, and then just, oh, whoops, oh, wrong one. But that's fine. Here we go. SK. They've gone for the force. It's risky, because a loss here does mean they're onto an eco in the next. And effectively, you kind of lend Mousesports a 7-1 scoreline at that point in time, and that is a very, very big deficit to try and come back from. Will they expect Sunny, who's aggressive on short? They do indeed. They've tagged him up. 14 HP to his name. He's going to try and back away, but he does have support from Steeko, who's swift to execute Fur. This is not the debut that SK were wanting up on stage in front of the home crowd in this semi-final. Cold Zahra. They're trying to tell you something, Cold. He's going to flash himself in. Steeko holds down the angle, does manage to burst, but so many bodies being thrown his way. And that's enough for Cold Zahra and Fallen to find two between them. Say bomb site has proved fruitful in the past. Chris J gonna have to back off. So they will be allowed to get this bomb down, Tom, leaving them in a 3-on-3.
Yeah, again, they've pushed in with not too much, but they've come out with a couple of guns. We're not going to see pushback in Rops yet to actually die in this map. And while CT side with the majority of their aggression coming in through short jump down from Fallen though, and he removes Chris J. It's just going to leave nothing, and Rops stuck behind this smoke. The time's starting to tick, and by the looks of it, they're just going to hold on to their weaponry once again. It will be a second round on the board for SK. The interesting factor is, can they take either of these guns away? They can leave Mousesports with very little. The problem is, they're also in a similar scenario.
They most certainly are. That's not going to stop nothing, though, from dispatching of bolts. If they can save these two rifles, a buy is possible in this round. It's going to be a second for SK. And that's what Mousesports have to go up against every single time. You know, Mousesports might be in the lead right now, they might be looking good, but every time SK get around, there's thousands of voices rallying behind them to get them hyped up, to get them in the game.
I think this may be my favorite place to stand ever.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, Tom.
Just looking out into
It's
this
quite
crowd.
the emotional experience being here, isn't it? I mean, everyone so passionate about this team. There's so much history that we could go into. I mean, some of these guys have been playing CS longer than I've been alive. So, you know, there's always that. Here's Cold Zahra opening up. He's going to find the frag on a Chris J. And they just keep on going. Sonny not able to stand the test of time. That it's far to Prevail, and now Stewie turns his attention back towards mid. I'm curious if Mousesports even try going for this one. Stewie, they call it the smoke criminal. There's a frag through the top of it. There is still nothing down in mid. His ex-teammate, obviously. The last time they were here in Brazil, they fought together, and now locked in a standoff. We'll see who does prevail.
Yeah, this has all just come down to trying to save these weapons, but it doesn't seem like SK want to allow that. They now know where Stiko is, and they should also know that there's a very high chance that Mousesports won't be able to buy into the next round, especially if they just remove every single weapon available to them. Stiko, he is going to make things more costly though, and just remember, SK, they're not like running away with a huge bank. This isn't a huge streak of rounds for them either, so it's important that they keep weapons, but they do remove everything from Mousesports now. There isn't going to be an available buy for Mousesports going into this next round.
There is not. This is SK's first real chance to start to string some rounds together and get closer to equalizing things out here with Mousesports. It was a good start from them early on, but in the last few rounds, SK have started to find their footing. They've hit the ground running. Cold Zahra going to be bringing out the MAC-10, looking to try and make some money in this round. And SK, they are going to be keeping an eye on long. Mousesports with 5 players here about to go for some sort of aggressive push. You have Bolts waiting back to keep an eye on this very area of the map. He's going to have a lot of bodies coming his way, but the second he gets that information, they can just run with that bomb into the B bomb site.
But look where it is. That's the only interesting thing, because it's in Suicide. Like it's sort of in one of those places where you don't really want it to be, but just look at the amount of damage. Bolts just farming up some frags, and we've got ourselves an ace already. Yeah, I can barely hit myself at the moment. An eco ace for Bolts. Our first one in this series, and I'm hoping it's the first of many. We've already seen a couple from the Mousesports side when we casted them earlier in the tournament, but SK have got one of their own.
Indeed they do. It might only be an eco ace, but it's going to be something to get that confidence built up. The crowd rallying behind them. Now we head into round number 10. There is the buy on the cards for Mousesports. So once again, SK going to get tested, but they look to switch the pace up with a fast play in towards this B-bomb site. There's nothing in rocks, and they go charging on through. Nothing splashed up the angle. Stewie on the entry. Now it falls to nothing to try and make a stand. He's going to go down. And locked out of B in a 3-on-3 at this point. Chris J down in CT might just consider saving. A lot of this going to come down to if this flank from Stiko is successful, and there's that frag on a Bolt. So now things become interesting. It falls to the 2-on-2. There's still utility up for either side. The smoke goes down in the double doors. And First now tasked with trying to keep an eye on the window. Has Cold Zahra over on Car, but he's tagged low. The bomb ticking down. He just misses the timing on a Chris J. He tries to go back for it. Now it's Cold. 22 HP. 3 players to find. It's not going to happen. Stiko able to deal with him on the flank. And Mousesports, good recovery there in the 3-on-3 to find themselves a 6th round.
Yeah, a very strong retake on a site that arguably the most difficult in the game to actually retake. I do think the aggression from Bolts is actually what causes that. He's trying to find himself the kill that gives them the round. Instead, it's somewhat the one that gives them away the round, because obviously Cold Zahra already low in the corner, couldn't really expect too much from him. Got the two Americans on screen, currently Jordan leading the way. But we've already seen that Stewie can very easily just win a round on his own. We saw it to end the game yesterday. Let's see if there's anything more of that. Both teams back in with a bye. Cold has been excellent at finding these entries onto short so far, but actually there's a double stack over towards the car, which could be a little bit of a surprise for anybody looking to face that way. Although actually neither of them looking towards short. They've got to be a bit careful if Cold comes a-looking. It seems like they are going to switch things up, but these are the sort of gambles that everybody is talking about. Like, this leaves mid fairly open, like one player really watching it alone. It also leaves short open as well. Like right now, anybody could just walk straight onto the A site and they would be completely unaware. So this map does come down to a lot of risks. The fact is, so far, so good from the CT side. They are going to send one man back towards the site. That will be Sunny. And it looks like SK are getting ready for this push on towards A.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try the run boost in. They're going to try and go for it now. Doesn't exactly go as planned. Stewie's been able to get by, but are they going to be ready for the man who currently sits in Goose? That's Sunny. They've got no idea. Sunny could do it all. Stewie falls, and Coldzera's got no clue. The bomb gets dropped, and it falls into CT. That couldn't be more disastrous for SK. You notice those cheers have died down. That's because that bomb is in an awful spot.
Oh, it's going to burn him. It is going to burn him. Sunny's still in the corner, but somehow he's still alive. Actually, Chris J is going to help him out. Fallen will at least be able to get one back, but the fact is it makes absolutely no difference. 15 seconds left on the clock. There's no way they're getting that bomb down, or at least picking it up. They're actually just going to try and get themselves the kills, but I don't think that's going to be happening either. Fallen with 7 seconds left is just going to try and peek in. He needs them to almost line up for there to be any hope here, and he does not want to die after that timer. He won't. He takes down Steeko and at least makes things costly, and they should be able to get themselves a buy. In fact, yeah, Fallen could drop one for Stewie. Everybody else can buy AKs and armor, so it's not the worst case. And they do make things very, very costly for Mousesports. Only one man survives.
Yeah, that's going to have pretty big implications. Now, SK are going to be going for this force buy here. You can see Fallen has dropped an AK over to Bolts. They have enough money to go for it. Meanwhile, on the Mousesports side, the buy will come through, but they're going to be a little bit limited in terms of the utility they can get. You might have to see someone like Steeko take a hit in terms of the firepower, as he so often does, being in that support role within this team. It's not all said and done yet. The economy game still kind of the ultimate decider as to who wins out this half. And a lot of that now going to come into play in this round. This is an important one, Tom.
Yeah, again, another big round in the half. That's why we have seen the pause actually called in. We are going to have that AWP into the hands of Fallen, who's actually heading over towards the B site. The man meeting him will be Rops, and we're going to see some aggression all across the map. Look at this. This is much faster, actually, from SK. They're running straight out into middle. They're looking to just try and split straight on towards the site. Rops and Nothing are going to have a lot to do here, but actually Rops, he manages that first kill. A second as well. Rops going huge with a triple. Cold will finally take him down, but it doesn't seem to matter. He has to do it all. 1v3, and it's not going to happen.
8th round for Mouse. Fantastic stuff there from Rops, as you pointed out.
He's just a tank. He's just an absolute tank to just keep switching between different positions.
The talent there, I think, comes as well from his ability. You know, he's so young, and we often see kind of, it's on the stage where the players at a younger age start to fall down, and especially in an environment like this, where literally the whole crowd, thousands of people are rallied against you almost, right? And he's still not letting the pressure get to him. He looks so composed there, facing off against 3 of the best players in the world. He makes it look easy. So,
they don't call him cool for nothing. Let's just put it that way.
that is very, very true, Tom. A surname has never stood the test of time as well, as Rops is. Sunny and Nothing, both over in mid. Interesting enough, there's only one man on the A-bomb site right now, and that's going to be Steeko. Even then, he's all the way down Catwalk. That's something to keep an eye on. See if Bolts can gain any leverage over here towards Long. They're doing the damage over here in mid. Fern with his Deagle. Proficient as ever with this weapon. Someone there once again. He has an inkling.
Yeah, there's 3 players in mid though, so
yeah, it might be a little bit more than he bargained for.
Gonna force him off that headshot angle as well. That's pretty much the deadliest angle there is for any CTs peeking in. You don't want to go anywhere near that angle. But here we go. This is what we're talking about. Not too much defense in terms of this A site, and that's exactly where Mousesports may need their defenses. There's 4 players currently heading in towards Long. They've left Coldzera to try and hold off any sort of rotations. With 30 seconds left, Nothing will be standing in their way, holding the angle, already looking for the pre-fire, finds 2, a 3rd, and a 4th for Nothing as well. Completely shuts down the push. Nothing for SK. And it's going to be 9-4 now in favor of Mousesports. They are looking good over on this CT side. A few rounds to sort of get the crowd going, but it seems like SK, well, they haven't really got going so far in this map.
Yeah, they most certainly haven't. I mean, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Nothing kind of trying to prove them wrong in that fact. It's very much, you know, in relation to the kind of standoff between him and Stewie that we keep talking about. It's Stewie kind of that, the child of CSGO, right? Where there's nothing coming, of course, from the titles before. It's a battle of the ages going on right now. Steiko going to be holding his ground over here at long. Once again, the aggression coming through. There is Bolts lying on the other side. Chris J's holding short aggressive. He's going to go peeking into it. There are 3 players there. Just a question of who finds who. They spam on through. Chris J, what a pre-fire. He's going to go back for more. Might come to regret it as he hops on down. Tagged up now, has to rely on Sunny. The smoke comes through, and that's enough to bail him out. SK have lost for very early on in this round, and now they're forced to try and readjust, being a man down.
Yeah, the biggest problem that they've had as well is just shutting down Chris J, because the fact is if they don't kill him off early, he'll just switch up his position and probably catch them again. Speaking of catching things, Fallen really did catch that nade down to just 34 HP. They have been falling back towards this short position an awful lot. They sort of tried B once, got wrecked by Rops, and then just decided, nah, we're not going to do that again. And it seems like just in terms of utility, Mousesports are more than ready. Look at this, 25 seconds left. They still have smokes down. Sunny on the site, Chris J holding the cross. This should be a no-go, but actually, Stewie does find one. At least an opener, but here is Sunny to just shut things down again. It isn't happening at all for SK Gaming. They're leaving it late. And the fact is, at the moment, Mousesports are leaving them with no chance.
Yeah, positively radiant performance there from Sunny. The shining star of this team, it feels like, this event, although you could definitely actually hilariously make the argument for nothing in Chris J to be amongst that.
I don't think there's been a weak player.
There definitely hasn't, no.
I think that's something that you have to mention, considering they're missing one of their players. The fact that nobody seems to be just like having a poor performance. Obviously, you can talk about the fact not that much pressure on them, but here we go. Once again, faster plays. Looking to try and come in, and Chris J, he's found that opener again. Can Fallen shut him down? Yes, he can. Now, it's important in these sort of rounds especially because they already had limitations when it came to weaponry. If Fallen can pick up an AWP, this buy really doesn't look so bad anymore, other than, of course, the missing utility. But he's going to die before he can do anything more. Sunny catches him in mid for desperately looking for a trade, and even nothing peeking into Bolts. You wonder who's the guy who's not been playing for a while. I'll be honest, because it doesn't look like nothing at the moment. Steiko now making aggressive plays. Stewie trying to do what Stewie does best, but he needs to find 4.
Yeah, this is not an easy feat, but Stewie looking to try and make it possible. Do you believe in Stewie? He spots out Steiko. There's the first man down. They know where he is now. You can see nothing aggressing towards long, and this is it. Stewie, knife out, runs into nothing, and nothing going to find him. Mousesports, an 11th round to win out this half in a very, very dominant fashion. SK on the ropes. Gonna need the pistol round here in this second half if they want to stand a chance of coming back into this one. We saw a strong performance early on. You know, they lose the pistol, they lose the Anticos, then they pick up that one force buy round, and then they find a bit of success on the back of it. Can their CT side see them through, or are Mousesports going to look to make this a decisive victory in map number 1, Tom?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, we were looking at a 5-4 scoreline, and then Mousesports just turned it on, won 6 rounds in a row. And, well, pretty much brought that half to an end in style. Now this pistol becomes crucial. Of course, this is the map pick of SK. This is a map that they've been looking to try and make their home turf. And that's something we haven't really seen from SK recently. We talk about home maps in the past. We talk about Overpass. Mirage was a map that you pretty much, at stages, could even have just called Brazilian. You didn't want to go there. Now they're trying to make that Dust2, but at the moment, Mousesports are saying, not today.
Well, the phones are out in the arena. They're rallying behind SK. It's unbelievable scenes right now, and Bolts from behind the car to try and do this home crowd proud. We saw Nap earlier on in the same position work some magic with the USP, but it doesn't work out so well for Bolts. They're going to keep charging up through long. They do have a smoke for the cross. That goes down, and Flash goes through. That allows Chris J to make it across with the bomb in tow. coldzera even going to get glocked down. Again, to try and boost up Fur. He could deny the bomb plant, but missed shots, and Chris J certainly not missing anything right now. Fall and falls as well. Chris J on 3. It is just coldzera back against the wall, and this time he can't do anything. Mousesports going to win the pistol. Those phone lights that were on just a minute ago to try and get SK pumped up have gone out, and
there's about 7 left.
Well, a very literal metaphor, perhaps, but
Were you trying to say it's lights out for SK?
Yeah, or you know, just kind of the spark starting to die down a bit. SK going for a force once again. Mousesports have looked clinical, and you know, I keep kind of referencing it, but in that interview with Stiko, he mentioned how playing with nothing has given them the confidence to play roles they wouldn't normally play, do things they wouldn't normally do. And that certainly stands to look true right now. They go rushing in towards this B bomb site, so much confidence on them. And already SK looking to save.
Well, yeah, that is one thing when I sort of think of Mousesports and think of sort of vocal characters. I don't really think of anybody. Like, Oscar was definitely not there for sort of like team talks and pumping them up. And when you have a crowd completely against you, you want someone like nothing around. You want someone who's going to sort of pump you up, to sort of show you, okay, it doesn't matter. I've been here before. I've beaten them before, in Brazil as well. He is pretty much the perfect guy to have stand in. And, well, the fact that he's also fragging like mad definitely helps them out significantly. But this is pretty much now a backs against the wall scenario for SK Game. And they're saving what they've got. It's going to be 13-4. Now, I'm hoping they don't invest too much into this next round. I could definitely understand why they would, but at least like to see some sort of buy on their CT side. Fallen was already saving a little bit of money for the AWP. But the fact is, even still, Mousesports get themselves a flawless round. They don't lose any players. They can build up economy themselves, and it's not like they're going to be fearful in the buy rounds at the moment because there's barely been any going the way of the Brazilians.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the emotions are really going to get to you, right? You're on stage in front of your home crowd, something that you don't get to do all that often. And last time they were here, they couldn't provide the win for the Brazilian crowd. Of course, they came second this time. Going out in the semis, that would be heartbreaking for SK. And all that's going to be playing on their minds. They've saved up a few weapons from that previous round. Some armor on Fur, bolts and coldzera, some flashes for Fallen. I'm going to rely on him to make a flashy play. Long control taken very, very early on by Mousesports. They're just going to start to concede this, maybe give up some ground, leaving a player here to keep an eye on things.
Wow. Much slower round, of course, from Mousesports. They know that there is a lot less danger than what they've had in a lot of the previous. Plenty of utility being expended towards Stewie, who's just going to try and lurk around those doors. We are going to have a bit of a push coming in from him. Missed shot from Rops. Not something I've had to say too often in this match. And the clock is starting to tick a little bit. 40 seconds left as Nothing now starts to make his move. Now, this is where the stack currently lies for SK, but he's going to look to try and dismantle it. Spots out a second as the rest of the team actually do look to push in here. There's a chance, but, well, that chance dwindles. Fallen going to be the only one left here. And Fur looking to try and just rotate back in. It's already looking like a 14th is locked in for Mousesports. And, well, it doesn't seem like there's anything Fur can do about it.
Yeah, he's got 12 bullets left. He's going to have to back away. 1v4 not happening anytime soon. Mousesports arriving at a 14th round on one of the maps that SK have been trying to make their home map. First tucked away. Chris J even going to discover him at the very end. Doesn't manage to escape with even a CZ and armor to his name. 14-4, 10 rounds between SK and Mousesports. A convincing CT side behind this Mousesports offensive, and now moving into their T side, they've looked just as confident, if not more.
Well, I think we've always spoken about the crowd being the sort of 6th member of the Brazilian side. When it's like this, I almost think it works for Mousesports. This is exactly the sort of stuff that Nothing was looking for when he spoke at the beginning. He's ready to rival that crowd, and, well, that's exactly what they've done. They're going to go for a fast play in towards Stewie. Manages to spray down. 3! All of them go. Finally, SK managed to wake this crowd back up. Steeko and Chris J, all that remains in this round. And the bomb down on B, there should be no chance for them here.
You cannot go into that B bomb site while Stewie is there. He's made that official. He tried to do it yesterday with his ace to end the game, and now he's managed to find 2 massive kills in this round, was helped out by Fern, leaving Steeko and Chris J 2 versus 5. It is a lengthy road to pull this game back. A few more rounds like that for SK. Keep pumping up this crowd, keep working off of each other, and they'll be well on their way to it. They find themselves a 5th top. They keep all 5 players alive as well, so that's fantastic for this economy over on their CT side. That's something they had so many problems with. You think back to the first half, and now they're close to resetting Mousesports. So once again, a chance to string together a couple of rounds, but it all falls down to this one.
Yeah, a big play like that can definitely awaken a team. Chris J going for the shot down middle, but won't find anything, and they're actually going to go for a long take here. CT side, plenty of players ready and waiting, and actually that is where the push is coming from Steeko. He's taken a lot of control. Coldzera is going to go through the smoke, finds one, looks for the second, but Rops is going to be available to trade, and I think they've realized that there may be more players than they really want to fight here. Nothing, on the other hand, has other ideas. He's still looking to challenge long, even spraying through the smoke before Fallen. Well, you don't give him that many opportunities, he will take you down. 14 and 5, a 4v3. SK may be about to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, Fallen's already managed one. He's looking to get even more spots them on the cross, but Chris J, from down in the depths of mid, does decapitate him. Even going to find Fur. That's Rops to pick it up. And now we see a 2-on-2. It's Stewie and Bolts. Bolts does pick up Sunny. It's Rops, 7 HP in a dream to take Mousesports through to map point here on Dust. Well, SK keep the comeback rolling. The bomb is down. The crowd believe in SK. And I think with good reason. Rops on 7 HP. It would require a miracle here for him to find this round. Stewie and Bolts playing together. Rops gonna miss that shot, and now they know where he is. They have a smoke for the bomb, and the nade comes through. SK, a 6th round. And it is getting very, very loud in here, Tom.
All it takes is a couple in the round, and a couple in a row. And the crowd are right back with SK once again. Money starts to become a little bit interesting for Mousesports. Now, they did a lot of damage in the previous couple of rounds, but with this much of an advantage, they really don't need to take any sort of risks. They don't need to try and break the economy of SK. They only need themselves a couple, and this map is done, and they can go on to their map choice and look to get themselves into the grand final. Of course, FaZe ready and waiting. They've already eliminated 1 Brazilian. Mousesports want to send the other 4 home.
I most certainly do. Every single time Mousesports have played SK this year in best of 3s, they've been able to beat them. This would be the event that you hope SK could change that statistic, turn it all around. And this one, this round, it's just Sunny and Rops with armor behind those pistols. They've expended any utility they had. Fallen down in mid, does have 2 players about to cross his way. Timing not going to be in his favor. He smokes it off, but won't be finding a kill there anytime soon, but he does deny any possibility of a peek in from Mousesports. Very slow round, hoping that somewhere SK go aggressive, and Fallen, the timing just isn't with him. They do manage to get up onto short. They have the potential of this split, but there's Fallen with the opener.
And now they go running in towards Bolts. Ready and set up again. Taking down those eco frags. Coldzera will finish things off, and SK have themselves a 7. However, this is where the buy comes back for Mousesports. They can get themselves that AWP and get themselves rifles across the board as well. So this is what they were waiting for. Double AWP setup will come in. Stewie on the secondary. Still waiting for Fur as well. 4 kills at the moment. He can be a man to sort of aggress and really do the damage. Looking like they were going to go for some sort of timing shot there, but I don't know what happened to Rops. Did he get stabbed? Did he get shot by someone as they crossed? Because he's taken some damage.
How much more damage actually to get done on a Seeker right now over at long doors? That's courtesy of Bolts. So a little bit exchanged early. And Mousesports, a team that have been known to throw away the odd lead every now and again. With this crowd rallied behind SK, you do feel like, you know, they're not out of this one just yet. They're not out of the woods, as it were.
What if QB Fire can do it? I'm sure SK can do it with this crowd behind them.
Scary thing is now, Mousesports, we are praising that confidence. That's something they spoke about a lot, how nothing coming into this has made them realize they can do things they didn't think they could do before. They've slowed right down in these rounds. Gonna go peeking into Fall, and he manages the first, and now nothing was the man trying to trade, not gonna get there in time. They do topple Bolts down at long. This is an avenue. This is a way back into this round for Mousesports. They've managed to turn it into a 4-on-4. They're gonna look to try and run the gauntlet here. Fallen, Fern, and Cold Zahra. That's a terrifying trio in this A bomb site if you've ever seen it. You do have Chris J down in the pit. Cold Zahra from the Goose. He's going to be plucking them off from a range. Fallen misses that first shot, and Cold Zahra gets pressured from short. Fallen tags up nothing, but doesn't manage to find the kill, and Fern caught in a crossfire, trying to fight back. Rop shuts him down. It's Stewie left in a 1v4, not meant to be. The defense crumbles for SK, and that is going to be map point now for Mousesports.
Yeah, it's important he saves this AWP as well. They'll have somewhat of a buy going into the next round, but saving the AWP means that either he can drop like a couple of rifles and Fallen can buy his own, or he can drop an AWP. So it really is a big, big deal if SK are going to look to make this comeback. No time to try and be a hero, no matter how much he would love to do it in front of this crowd. This is all about keeping that weapon in play, and Steeko is going to be rounding that corner. He misses the shot, and there goes that AWP. Now, there will still be money in the next round, but now we could see a few limitations. Maybe only the singular AWP, just in order to make sure that they can get weapons on the remaining players. Actually, yeah, I think Fur actually buys an MP9. I think he was going to be dropped something. Maybe they actually drop a FAMAS instead, but it looked like Stewie was ready to drop him a rifle. Either way, 15-7. Map point on the choice of SK. And they have plenty of to play with. They've got 8 attempts, in fact, to try and close this one out. Fallen with that AWP once again, going for a little bit of aggression. Bolts is actually going to continue it forward, and this time he wins the battle versus Steeko. A man advantage into the favor of SK Gaming, but a lot of the time that hasn't been enough. We saw it in the previous round, and things quickly fell back into the hands of Mousesports, who have looked like the dominant force in this map so far. And while unless SK can streak together 8 and then take it in overtime, they'll be going on to their map choice, which I believe is Train, with a map advantage.
Wow, they've been able to get down through short. Chris J retrieving the bomb back in T-spawn, rejoins up with Rops over here towards tunnels. Looking like it's going to be a B play, but we know how proficient Stewie's been in this area. Nothing trying to sell the fake, now emerges from short, throws out a little bit of utility while the rest of the gang start to pressure this B bomb site. Stewie, he spots them. The pressure's on now as they lose Fallen over at A, and Stewie tries to go for another spray down. This time it just doesn't connect for him, leaving the pressure on Fur. It's an MP9 in B. We've seen this once before on the back of Stewie. Now can Fur make it work to keep SK in this game. He's hidden away. They've got no idea. From up above, nothing hops down. Fur manages one, and it falls to Cold Zahra. He does get toppled by Sunny, leaving Bolts 1v2 in the retake. No utility, but he does have a kit to try and work with. Time ticking down. Sunny has his eye on him, and Bolts drops the ball. Mousesports, they're going to go 16-7 here on Dust2. The map pick of SK, and Mousesports take a decisive victory. It smiles all around. Nothing's looking happy. That was a fist handshake. I've never seen one of them.
Fist five.
Yeah, that was good. Their coordination to serve a little bit better than their coordination up on the stage. 16-7 at the very end there for Mousesports. Looking good, feeling good. The question now becomes, can SK pull it back in map number 2 to take us through to a third? Because they would love nothing more than to secure a spot in the finals on the stage in front of this home crowd? Or is it going to be the case where nothing sends them home again? We'll find out after the break.
Incendiary out.
Did I seriously get that dude in smoke?